Welcome back. This is Native Honor Hours. I'm here with...
Cindy Krafka.
Okay. Of all things I should have messed up on, it should have been your name. Also have a very special guest
You have
with
to
us
behave
tonight.
because of our very special guest.
No, you're not.
You have to.
Well, I'll try. But this is our guest tonight is Meredith Schramm. And full disclosure, I should probably say it's my daughter.
Which nobody would know because she's such a beautiful young woman, and we've
smart,
all
too.
seen you.
You should see my granddaughters. They're just amazing.
I know Monica's genes are good.
And we're here because she wrote a book, and
Yes.
and we're out. She's out promoting it and trying to get it into various schools. And I should tell you that my daughter is a teacher. She's one of my few that didn't listen to me.
The smart one.
Yes.
She didn't listen to me. Didn't go to law school. There's still time though.
She's also one of your best dancers.
Yeah, she is. I should tell you a story about, and tell us about her. When my daughters went off to school, and most people think I tell my girls or my kids to go to law school. I don't do that, but I suggested a couple things to my daughters, and they went out and tried it, and they hated it. So I just said, do what you want to do. And they picked some minor that you can't get a job in.
Such as?
Spanish literature.
Okay, that's
History.
History.
Ed, you are down on history though.
I'm not down on it.
Wasn't that what your degree
I'm
was?
not down on it. No, I love history. It's just that if you're going to have a family, it's hard to provide on it.
That's what he says to all the students.
History
You're in
teacher's
history.
salary.
Yeah, true.
But with Meredith though, it was about time to select a major, and she called me and says, "Dad, I decided what I'm going to do." And I said, "Oh, what?" She goes, "I'm going to play." Okay, what are you going to play? And she said she's going to be a PE coach, so that was good. So, and she's been teaching, and I'll let her tell you what you did. She's gone off and written a book now.
Not about PE teaching though.
No, it's about.
Yeah.
She's also involved in Title
VI.
Indian education. Been doing that for a number of years, and
Since 2001.
what's that?
Since 2001.
You're not old enough to have been doing it that long.
That
Yeah.
is a number of years.
And
So
a
technically, that still would be correct.
And a wonderful mother with 3 beautiful
Yes.
children.
Yes.
My best accomplishment.
Which I would like, it's my best too. I don't care whatever I do, having kids would be the best. Well, the grandkids are here, I think you should show them your new fashion accessory. Show it on TV.
Can the camera get close to this? You get close to that?
Oh, they can't.
See?
We don't have Zoom.
You can't see my fingernails are painted with the
I
BYU.
never thought I'd see the day.
What am I going to do? Tell them no?
I'm only here every once in a while.
So,
I think-
so you
Anyway,
might have
she's
your
here to
nails
promote the book, not her fingernail making skills.
I'm very good.
Well, tell us about your book.
Well, I had this idea actually a while ago, and I remember I called you. I was on my way home, and I remember talking to you about this idea that I had, and he was just like, all right. But so it's been about 5 years since I've been trying to create this and how I wanted to present it. But last year, I wrote a grant with Running Strong.
Wow, Billy Mills.
It's the Dream Starter Teacher Grant, and having a deadline for the grant kind of like gave me something to work for. Otherwise, I probably would still be writing it. But
No, but you
meanwhile,
got it.
teaching
You
but I
being
got
a
it.
mom.
Accept
Yes.
it.
So I got the teacher grant. I wrote it, got the grant, and the grant allowed me to create and print copies of this book. And it's an actual it's an actual lesson plan book.
It's the camera with the red light. How long have you been doing
There.
this?
There you go.
What I found is, I mean,
You know what? We should just keep that over her face the entire time. Make the show much better.
What I found as a teacher is I know that they are asked to do a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And not that I think anything's bad, but there's Native studies gets kind of pushed. The whole
If
thing.
at all taught.
Yeah, and I know like right now there's a big push for STEM courses and testing. And so there's not a big need or eagerness, I don't know the word, to actually change Native
It's
studies.
not a priority.
It's not a priority. And as I was meeting with some of the teachers, a lot of the teachers created it fits standards, and so they don't really change it, or they don't know where to look.
Or they don't know that they're not telling the right story.
They don't know that standards have changed, where they're supposed to be teaching about how the culture has evolved and how the culture is represented today. And where are they supposed to get that? So I decided that the solution would be just to create the lesson plan. Instead of giving them the information and then having them write it, like, why don't just do it for them? So the lesson plan is a 14-lesson unit plan. It's a supplement. It's not meant to replace their curriculum by any means. Like, I think it's still important to teach history, but I think this is a good supplement to teach about how the culture has, and use the history about Native culture and the Native events, historical events, and how it has evolved in the culture as today. The book is made with grades 7 and 4 because those are the grades that do state history. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest questions I'm asked is it too general? Because a lot of, like Utah, I'm from Utah, they need to learn about the 5 tribes of Utah.
No, you're from Omaha.
I'm from
living
Omaha.
in Utah.
I live in, but technically, Dad, I've lived in Utah more than half my life.
We won't ever admit that. My son hasn't lived in Nebraska for 100 years, and I still think he's Nebraska.
Well, I'm from Nebraska, but since I live in Utah, my kids will learn about Utah history.
Which
and
is
the 5
problematic because we all come from different tribes,
Yes.
different places, different beliefs.
So my solution to this, because a lot of the
No,
lessons.
can I break in here for a second?
Yeah,
Dear
go ahead.
God.
That was a very valid point that you just made. I just want to note that for the record, that she came in on a point that was actually coherent and on point. Good job.
I usually try and dumb it down when I'm with you to make you look better.
You know, I've been doing that with you for the past 20 years.
Anyways.
I'm sorry, he
No, I
does that
forgot.
all
Hold
the
on.
time.
No.
You should be used to this by now.
Is it general?
It's
Is it
so
general?
it is but I was able to create a lesson, the unit where you can make it more specific to the tribes that teachers need to teach about for their curriculum. So there is a lot of general topics like regalia or drumming. We have tribes, sovereignty, treaties. So it's
Some of the biggest misunderstandings.
there's even I had to do a mascot lesson.
Of course.
I mean, I'm
Of
a
course you
Zendaya, so we had to do a mascot lesson. There's a lesson there that the students will get to pick from a list of natives that are living today, and they get to kind of learn about the trials that they had to go to and what they have done to help the native community, and like the first astronaut or.
I could even see how that could work in a college class. Have the class research a current native, because so much of what we learn is the dead Indian.
Yes. So the unit plan at the very beginning will have, there's 14 lessons, and there's an assignment and activities to go with every lesson. And then, along with that, if the teachers choose to do the unit project, there's a question that goes along with every lesson. And at the very beginning of the unit, each student will get assigned a tribe. And throughout the unit, at the end of the class, we learned about boarding schools. So your assignment for your big project would be to, find the boarding school that's closest to your reservation, or find a boarding school that your tribe went to, type of thing. Mm-hmm. And so they have to learn about it. Or one of the lessons about languages and how every tribe has their own language and culture and stories. And so from the tribe you're assigned, you need to figure out how to say hello, goodbye, and I love you in that tribal language. So and at the very end of the unit, they get to do a presentation, and so the students can see that each tribe is different, and they learn about the tribe today and not just historical, because all the questions are geared towards, today, what are these topics about the tribe today? So that's like the unit plan and how I tie it together and how I also get it to be more tribal specific for the schools that need to learn about certain tribes or certain regions. But otherwise, it's geared towards, and they're also, can I?
Of course.
Of course.
This is about you.
Okay. So I do have adaptations for younger and older grades. Like I said, it's geared towards grades 4 and 7. But one of the fun things I was able to do, I did a lot of scouring the internet and scouring bookshelves, and I bought a bunch of books. So for example, one of the lessons is about code talkers. And it's kind of a big, I think they learned about World War II in 6th grade. But for younger kids, you know, you want to do some of the things in here, but that's kind of a big topic for kindergartners or 1st graders. And so I found these books, and they're all listed at the beginning of every lesson. It will say a suggested book. Most of them are little kids' books. And I picked these books because if you look at them, they're pictures of, like the kids are wearing jeans and t-shirts, and it's his grandfather telling him a story. It's not like stories of long ago or myths or creation stories. They're stories about little Native boys or girls who are living today. They're not wearing feathers or headdresses. So students see that the kids
Or half naked.
I know, that's a great book. They
Yeah.
shared that book at the primetime reading.
Yeah.
The
This
reading
is a
club they have
cute
for
book.
Native Americans and their
And
families.
the
children
little
here.
boy is scared about moving, and a new adventure, and his grandfather wanted him to. So it's a cute way though and I found a couple other books where, you know, we have a dancing regalia lesson, and where we learn that paper feathers are not good, or paper bag vests. But I found this cute book about a girl who wants to be a jingle dancer. And so she goes around to her aunt, who's an attorney, and she's like, she doesn't dance anymore. She asks her aunt, can I borrow a row of jingles so I can make my dress and dance at the powwow this weekend? And then she goes to her grandmother, who is a nurse, and she can't go to the powwow. She's like, grandmother, can I borrow a row of jingles for my jingle dress? And so she's at the powwow at the very end, and she's like, I'm dancing for my grandmother who cannot dance anymore. I'm dancing for my aunt. And it's a cute story to kind of show how when we dance for our ancestors, and it's a prayer, but it's a girl who, you know, she's like any normal girl living in a house, and I found stories like that most of the lessons will have a lesson or a book.
So they can relate.
So the teachers can find the book and use that as part of the lesson instead of these big topics where it might go over their head a little bit.
Find Native books in school libraries, for instance.
I'm not sure, but I think since there is a list in there, it might be good for
The
the
librarian
librarians can order some of these books that would be useful that the teachers could check out. But I found a lot easily. I just kind of scoured. I literally bought books that I thought would work and found a bunch of
you
cute
have your
ones.
kids
And my kids
to
could
figure
use
out
them.
what they like,
Yeah.
what they don't like. That's very helpful.
So,
What kind of feedback have you gotten so far?
so far, not a lot, because it literally just came off the press like 2 weeks ago.
Response to
Response?
requests
Oh.
for your book.
Well, funny story. I printed these books, and in my head, because nothing I do ever is big. The school district I work for was going to hand some out to their teachers to use this year as a kind of give me some feedback and
And
maybe.
what school is that?
I work for Provo City Schools down in up in Utah, and then I had some books left over that I was going to hand out to any of my family friends that were teachers. I really wanted to give some to my teacher friends that I knew would use them or that would use them. So I posted on Facebook, and I was shocked. Like, my original post has been shared over 1,000 times.
Wow.
And I had to,
Right
I feel
on.
bad because I had to stop answering messages because.
Well, the need is so great.
And that's what I was like, you know what, it kind of reaffirmed that it was needed. It shocked me how much the teachers were excited and they even agree, like, there's too much for them to do for them to even think about this. And so they just wanted to try it. They wanted to see it. And I really wish I could have given all of the teachers a free book.
Well, you'll
but
have
I
to
can't.
reprint.
I can. I actually just,
We do a lot of work with Minnesota Humanities, who's big in education in Omaha. So we do a lot of work with cultural sensitivity in the teachers. And they come and they're all thirsty. They know that what they're teaching the kids is not the right story.
yes.
But they don't have anything. Yes. And that's what these immersions are all
What did
about.
you-
They spend
Everybody out there is
You
looking to
guys-
figure out what's
We're
going
sharing
on.
the book.
So the one, and that was a big question too, is the teachers didn't even know how to teach or about Native, or teach Native kids. And so I did do a chapter in there about, I call it diversity training, how I can better help my Native students. And that was really, it's not anything high or deep in thought, but it was just from my experience with working with the Native families in my district for the past 17 years, and in my own family, just kind of what my experience was and how I think it would best, you could better help. Just 5 little tips, and just to like make that experience for your Native student better in the school and how you can better help them. So there's a little section in there that they can kind of go through and read. That might help.
Well, it's good because it helps break some of the stereotypes. I always tell them, don't assume that you can identify a Native student in your class. Yet
No.
they're listening to everything you say. How do you think they feel when you teach about Thanksgiving? Or when you teach about Christopher Columbus? There's no sensitivity for the Native students for any of those subjects. I read where Texas is just putting out a history book that says the Indians gave the land to the white man so that they could live there and be happy. And I'm thinking, what? What is going on in America? So things like this, I can see it exploding because there are great teachers out there who really want to get it right.
And any teacher that I've ever talked to, like I go into my kids' schools, any teacher that I've ever talked to has always been excited and wanting to learn. The only hiccup is they just don't know. And I think if they know, then teachers would be more apt to teach the right things, but they just don't know.
One of the comments I saw on your Facebook was,
'Cause he
yeah, but
trolls
is she
you.
native?
Oh, yeah.
How many times did you get that?
I don't know.
You know
And
what,
that's
though?
why if you-
Here's
I
the
had to,
thing,
like,
though.
repost
If you
it, I'm like,
stop
I'm native.
and see, it's a valid question.
Yeah.
Because everything that's coming out like this has been written by white people who really have no understanding of fundamentally
they
who
probably,
we
a
are.
red flag probably went up when they saw Schramm.
I know.
You know what, though? It's good that they questioned, and it's good that you could come back and say, I'm an enrolled member of a tribal nation. That is what we need. We need our young ones stepping up and saying, well, we're not teaching the kids right. Here's some suggestions. And it's not in your face, it's here. I'm
And
giving
really,
you this,
I
utilize it.
don't, I'm not saying that teachers have to use this. And I even said in the introduction, this is a supplementary tool for teachers. And every lesson is a standalone lesson. And I did it that way because teachers didn't need one lesson to teach about the next lesson. They didn't need to know prior knowledge in case they couldn't do all 14 lessons. And I understand that teachers don't have time sometimes to do the stuff that they have to teach and then some new stuff that there's just not enough time. And so they could pick and choose what they thought was important or had time for and do it and not feel like I have to do this whole entire lesson in order for them to get the experience of it.
Are you only selling this on the Running Strong website?
Right now I am. So if you go to indianyouth.org, that is the Running Strong website. So indianyouth.org. If you go to their store, they will have the books. They're only $10.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. We're doing an immersion coming up in October. I'll put it up on the big screen. And we'll suggest that the teachers who are interested, please check this out.
Yeah.
Because like I said, we get about 150 teachers who are saying, we didn't know.
Yes.
We didn't understand. We just need to be led. And so much of the stuff that's out there for teachers that they think is right is not, because nobody talked to a native and said, what should we be teaching? And now you've got it. This could be huge.
So, right
Unless-
now, well, so Running Strong, I printed off, and they printed a bunch of books, and so they have copies from their site. If it's any more like a big bulk order, I know our school district wants to order a bunch, but it's easier if I can just print it. So if it's like a big bulk order, I can get them printed. Otherwise, Running Strong on their website has it. But
Well, we have the NICE program in
Yeah.
Omaha, Native Indigenous Centered Education. Their teachers should absolutely be seeing these books.
the other, say that really fast, the other fun thing, if you buy it from the IndianYouth.org, the sale of the book will go back to Running Strong, and so they can help. I don't know if you have researched into their organization, but at least for our school district, they have donated backpacks with school supplies, snow boots, winter coats, diapers, hygiene kits, and they help like food on the reservations, and they do so much. And so I know that
We've actually propped
Well,
up
and
Billy
you know
Mills.
what?
He's one of our favorites.
Part
Yeah,
of the problem,
it's so
though,
good.
is a lot of the people who really need this and need to do it and to put it out there have no idea how to write a grant. And we all know
I
what
didn't
goes
either.
into grant writing. It's
hard.
It is. It is. And if
I
and
felt
there's a
bad
lot
on
of
my-
stops in the road to doing it.
it was, well, I helped Ruben, my younger brother, do the Dream Starter grant the year before. It kind of gave me a taste of what it was, but this one was actually, the teacher grant was pretty easy. And so I was less intimidated by it, but
This one's no fun to be around when he's writing a grant. He gets real serious and real
Writing
cranky.
anything. Anyway, but we're happy that you're able to come and promote that. It's been a lot of hard work, and I know we're quite proud and pleased that you put that out. And your younger brother, or
Yes.
baby, he did the.
I love
did
the
book
picture,
cover.
the native woman in regalia and a kid in a
Yeah.
t-shirt and shorts. I like that.
so
one.
do you know what this is?
No, is it ledger art?
Yes.
Yes.
Actually, one of the guys that I work with, he's like, "Oh, is that like a teacher planner?" He's like, "That's a cool, like how you did the native." I'm like, "No, it's ledger art, but I guess that could be that too."
It's only the color that throws you off,
Yeah.
that makes it look like that. But that's a beautiful
Yes,
cover.
but it's Ruben, my younger brother, designed it, and we kind of decided that it kind of brought in the historic with the modern twist to.
Right, well, we hope, I know you're going to do well with it, because there's been tons of people that have asked for that. I had a former student that's teaching on the Omaha reservation. She sent me a message and said, "Can you get me one of those books?" She teaches she's been doing it for 10 years.
Well, wouldn't it be great if you could find a college professor, one of the teachers who would buy into that and give them literature like this to the new teachers going out? Because I found that they are the ones who are more likely to embrace something like this. A lot of the
Why don't
teachers
you do
your age say, I've done it this way for 50 years. I'm doing it this way. The newer ones are more likely to embrace something like this.
All right. Well, you have any Indians of the week? Any knuckleheads?
Indians of the week, what happened in Kansas?
Sharice David.
Right on.
She's Ho-Chunk
Ed,
from
I think we're going to
Wisconsin.
take it back.
Ho-Chunk from Wisconsin won the primary.
A woman.
Primary
native.
for Congress in Kansas.
Right
that makes
on.
two now that are going.
I might go over.
Yeah.
I think I want to go listen to her speak.
You what?
It's at least close. I want to go to one of her rallies and listen to her speak.
Maybe she'll run for Congress one of these days out in Utah.
Why not? Native women are taking the baton. We love you men, but
isn't
it's the women that are
Idaho
making
one
the
too,
changes.
right?
Yes.
She's for governor.
She's for
Paulette
governor.
Gordon.
Yes, Paulette.
Mm-hmm.
She's actually in here.
Is she? Well,
Yeah.
good.
Right on.
We've talked
Good.
about her. She was our Indian of the week.
I thought
But
about
Sharice
politics.
David, Ho-Chunk, down in
Yes.
She went to law school at Cornell.
Mm-hmm.
She's a smart
Wow.
one. But we hope it's a pretty red state, and I hope she does well. I
Well,
think we
you
need
know
that-
what? I
that
think her
voice.
election will be a direct reflection on the great Orange Father. If people are tired enough of him, she's going to make it.
Well, So Sharice David, our Indian of the Week.
Yes, for the next few weeks. Let's
Have
celebrate
any
it.
Knuckleheads of the Week?
No, but I know you do.
I do. I have one. I had to pick and choose, but it's Major League Baseball. And the reason why is because a couple of these young pitchers, that have gotten in trouble.
Wait just a second. Ed's views do not necessarily reflect anything Meredith and I may believe. Go ahead.
Don't worry, I'm not going to go there. They tweeted or posted some things, racial things back when they were high school, 15, 16 years old, and they resurfaced. Mm-hmm. And it was around the All-Star break, and one of them got.
You mean
got
Facebook and that stuff never goes away?
No, it doesn't.
Gosh.
But they called him on it, and they were going to get him. People were going to get him in trouble, but Major League Baseball stepped in and said they're gonna make him go to diversity training. And he's gonna have to do this. I'm thinking Major League Baseball. Let's see, Cleveland Indians-Chief Wahoo.
Oh.
They still sanction, even though Cleveland, you still have the tomahawk chop. And Major League Baseball, of all organizations that are going to say, "Oh, that's bad, that's racist, you better correct your behavior." Come on, you got to correct your own behavior before you start trying to impose these diversity training.
Never mind, I agree with
these
Ed.
kids. But anyway, Major League Baseball,
going down.
Knucklehead of the Week.
Well, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, I was glad to have my daughter in town.
I was
thank
too. I
you.
really prefer chatting with you than that one.
Okay, well,
Maybe it can convince me to stay.
maybe when she comes back,
Yeah.
she'll have more success stories.
Well,
to tell
we'll
us.
see if we can get that book out.
But
That'd be
anyway, it was a good show this week, and we'll see you next week.
Have a
We
good
think.
week.